Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard Count Football Podcast Live. My name is Jacob Chardo, leading the next generation of football fans live on the Hard Count Football YouTube channel, and of course, right here on 1252 Sports Chicago. Guys, it is week 13. We have a lot of really exciting games. Today, we're going to start the show with some fantasy news. Because, you know, your fantasy playoffs are coming up. You might be in the playoffs, or you might be out of the playoffs, or you might be right on that brink, you know? For me, few of my leagues, I'm in already, right? I'm top of the league. Some of my leagues, I'm towards the bottom. It happens every single year, you know? But I'm here to give you your 5 starts and 5 sits for this week. I'll be doing this going forward to help you out with your fantasy playoff lineups. Let's get into it. And in a little bit, we're going to get Harry in here to talk about all the games. As always, give our picks and get going here. So my 5 starts for this week. We'll go 1 for 1 here. 1 start, 1 sit. So my first start, Alexander Mattison of the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions, who are 28th against the run, right? Dalvin Cook out for the next couple of weeks. Could be longer. They say 2 to 3. I honestly think they'll probably sit him out until playoff time, or at least till week 16, 17, 18, when they really need him back. Alexander Mattison, every time Dalvin Cook has been out, has been an incredibly serviceable back. I think this week he puts up somewhere between 19 and 20 points, 88 rushing yards, 89 rushing yards, and a touchdown, and a few catches to go on top of it. So I'm starting Mattison in all of my leagues. I think he is an RB1 this week against the depleted Detroit Lions defense. My number 1 sit this week, and I hate to say it because I'm a Jets fan. I'm going to the game today. I'll be at MetLife Stadium to see them play the Eagles. But my number 1 sit is Corey Davis, if he can go today. There's a chance Corey Davis is inactive. He's only been able to, he practiced fully on Friday, but he didn't practice any day before that. So we'll see if that's enough for him to go. If he starts, I'm still sitting him, like I said, banged up all week, draws an incredibly tough matchup against Darius Slay and this Eagles defense, which ranks 3rd against the pass this season. So Corey Davis is, in my opinion, at best, and he's in the wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 category, but I'm sitting him in my normal formats, because I'm just not a fan of him this week. I think a better option to go, maybe Elijah Moore, but I don't really trust any of these receivers just because this Eagles defense, this Eagles secondary has quietly been very solid with Darius Slay and Steven Nelson. So I'm sitting Corey Davis. My number 2 start, Javonte Williams at Kansas City. I know I'm starting all these backup running backs this week, but listen, Javonte Williams, when he's been in, the rookie, second or third round pick out of UNC, has been, he's been really good, right? He gets yards after contact. Every time that Melvin Gordon's been out, he's produced. Same thing as Alexander Mattison. I expect a huge day from Javonte Williams. This is going to be his breakout game, finally. The moment we've all been waiting for. You fantasy managers who have had Javonte on your bench for the last 12 weeks of the season, this is the time to finally put him in. Kansas City ranks 17th against the run. I love the matchup for Javonte Williams this week. On the flip side of that, I'm sitting Clyde Edwards-Helaire of the Kansas City Chiefs against the Denver Broncos, who rank 9th against the run. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even if, first of all, I don't even think he's going to get the load in this game. Even if he is, he's already questionable. Even if he does, they'll give him 10, 11 touches, not exactly the amount you want to see from your starting fantasy running back. I think there are better options, and I think Denver plays against the run tough. I think they're going to make Kansas City throw the ball, really make people burn them because they have a couple great corners, and they have Pat Surtain. I love it. I hate Clyde Edwards-Helaire this week against the Denver Broncos. I am sitting him in every single league that I own him in. I'm starting Terry McLaurin against the Vegas Raiders. I know the Raiders have been sneakily good against the pass so far this season. Only 6th, right? That's really good for, a team that I probably couldn't even name 3 of the corners on this team, 3 players in the secondary on the Raiders. But Terry McLaurin, last week, not his best week fantasy-wise. We know Terry has these ups and downs. Fantasy managers, I just traded Terry away. If you can still, I'm sending him away. But this week, after this week, do it after this week. Terry's going to have a huge week. You don't need that inconsistency in your fantasy lineups. But this week, he's going to have a big one against a tough matchup against the Raiders. Taylor Heinicke is going to find him, and I think you'll find in just a little bit when we talk about our games that I think Washington has a big day against this Raiders defense. My number 3 sit, Matt Breida against the New England Patriots. Breida's been, these last couple of weeks, he's been getting a lot of touches, right? He's become the lead back in Buffalo behind 2 young guys, which is between Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. Breida looks like the best running back. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He can do everything you need to do, everything that your running back needs to do. New England's going to play Buffalo tough. They always do. Both these defenses are really good. I'm sitting basically everybody I have against the other side, right? I'm sitting almost every one of my fantasy players besides Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Honestly, I'm sitting everybody else in this matchup on Monday night. I don't trust any of them, but my number 1 sit in this game, Matt Breida. My number 4 start, Mike Evans at the Atlanta Falcons this week. Atlanta, I mean, their secondary is atrocious, 26 against the pass. I mean, I see the Buccaneers offense putting up 32, 35 points in this game. Mike Evans is going to be he had the down week last week, which we know in this Bucs offense means he's going to shoot back up this week. Antonio Brown suspended for 3 games for faking his vaccination card. Whatever, you shouldn't do that. Suspended for 3 games. That's another big wide receiver on this offense that has been out for a lot of this season so far. I love Mike Evans. I love the matchup that he's drawing. I think Atlanta's going to focus too much on Chris Godwin and his ability in the slot, and they're going to lose focus on Mike Evans on the outside, and he's going to have a big game. I think a pair of touchdowns in this one for Mike Evans. My number 4 sit, Marvin Jones Jr. at the Los Angeles Rams here. The Rams ranked 21st against the pass, so they're not very good against the pass. But Trevor Lawrence has struggled to find Marvin Jones on the outside. If you own Marvin Jones, you go look at his stats, you see they are not very good. I don't know if he's not creating separation. I don't know if he's not getting open, but they're not. But the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence just isn't getting him the football. I think there are better options than Marvin Jones at the receiver position this week that you could find on the waiver wire still. And I think that I can easily say that you should sit Marvin Jones this week. It's not worth the risk. He's only really exploded 2 or 3 times this season, and you're kind of still holding on to that hope that he's going to do it again. But I don't think it's going to happen. My number 5 start this week, Darnell Mooney of the Chicago Bears against the Arizona Cardinals. I know. Cardinals 9th against the pass. They are pretty good. This Cardinals defense has been a lot better than I thought they were going to be before the season started. And with Andy Dalton starting at quarterback this week, I think it's a more secure passing game for the Bears. I think that you can really rely on it a lot more. When Justin Fields is playing quarterback, they're going to rely on the run. They're going to rely on play action a lot. I think Andy Dalton is going to get the ball to Darnell Mooney consistently. I think this could be a game where Mooney has, 7 or 8 catches, 80-something yards, and possibly a touchdown. I mean, he's been quietly a wide receiver 2 for the last 5 weeks of the season. He is the clear-cut wide receiver 1 in this Bears offense. I love starting Mooney this week against the Cardinals. At my number 5 sit, Devontae Smith at the New York Jets. He'll be drawing a matchup against Bryce Hall, the underrated, quiet rookie. Second-year corner who has been a quiet cornerback 1 for this Jets team. He's shut down a lot of receivers. To name a few, Jamar Chase. He shut down Jamar Chase. I know the Jets 17th against the pass. This Jets defense is not great, but the Eagles will be starting Gardner Minshew today at quarterback. And with the inconsistencies at quarterback, you don't want to take a risk on your receiver game. You don't want to take a risk on the backup quarterback to the receiver. I'm sitting all my Giants receivers this week. I'm sitting, all my Eagles receivers. I think that Devontae Smith will have a quiet one against this Jets defense today. So those are my 5 starts and my 5 sits, guys. Good luck in your fantasy matchups. I hope that you all can clinch the playoffs, can get to the playoffs, because fantasy playoffs, while they're stressful, they are a ton of fun, and you can win yourself some cash. Now, let's talk about all these games today. We're going to talk about, winners. We're going to talk about losers. We're going to talk about the lines. We're going to talk about the points totals. I love it. But to talk about that, I need my betting guy in here. Let's bring him in. Harry the Greek. Let's get him in. Harry, man, what's going on? How are you today?
Absolutely perfect. Live and in person. Again. How does it feel up there in Chicago being 38 degrees? Oh
Yeah, it's
boy.
39. It's gonna top out in New Jersey around 46, 47, which honestly, I'll be okay with
Raining too up there in
being in
Chicago.
Chicago.
Oh,
All right,
we
so
have we have a little overcast. Nah, I'm only kidding.
raining in Chicago, that might change my pick a little bit with this Darnell Mooney start. I'm just kidding. I'm starting Darnell
Nah,
Mooney.
it's just a little bit of a
Just a little
precipitation.
bit.
It's really not that bad. How are you, Jacob?
I'm doing really, really well this morning. I'm excited. I'll be heading out to MetLife Stadium in just about an hour. So I'm excited to see this Jets team hopefully pick up their only winning streak this season so far. Jets will not renew Zach Wilson's contract according to reports. Thank you, Troy Polamalu, for coming in here and watching the show today. I appreciate my number
That
one goal in the
yeah.
comments. You know, you guys remember? I mean, Harry, I'm sure you remember we were talking about Zach Wilson when he didn't sign his contract. And everyone was like, "Oh, he's not gonna play for the Jets. He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna." Well, he got it done. He's stuck here. He's got 4 years here.
Hold on. Ready? Let's just get it over with.
All right,
Let's just
Harry.
get it over with.
I'm
Okay.
not a college football show, but I will let
Listen,
you. I'll let you talk about this Georgia band. I picked Georgia too, man.
Look, I did say in full disclosure, I love Joe. I love Georgia. I says, but if I had to pick a head coach, how do you go against Saban? I mean, really, man, I need to be beaten profusely. Okay, seriously.
Oh,
I'm
you're
I'm
good, man.
sorry. I'm sorry to all my fans out there that lost money on that game yesterday. But in the realm of things, we are up big time. That was disgusting. Can we not talk about that anymore?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about.
Troy, please, can we not talk about that Georgia game anymore?
We've got NFL games here. We've got Christopher Cole says, "Hey Jacob, what's going on, Chris? Thanks for tuning in here. He's a rookie, Troy. Oh well, he's just Troy's just a troll. We're good. All right, Harry, we got NFL games to talk about here.
Yes, we do. What do you want to talk about, Jacob?
We have a lot of big favorites today. We have a
Yeah,
lot.
we do.
We have a lot of big favorites here.
Start with them.
The Minnesota Vikings -7.5 at the Detroit Lions. Point totals 46.5. Harry, who do you like and why? Because I mean, me and you have been. The Lions are 0-10-1. We have. How many times do you think we've picked the Lions this year? 3, 4.
I've cashed them. You ready? Ready? 3 times.
3 times.
I bet them 4 times. I cashed them 3 times.
So, Harry, who do you like in this game here? NFC
Oh.
North divisional matchup.
Senor, I'm going to Texas, which means El Paso.
Yeah, you're going to Texas. I don't know. I don't love these divisional matchups. The Lions are still playing ridiculously hard. They don't have DeAndre Swift in this game, though. But I think Jamal Williams should be a serviceable back. He runs the ball really, really well. He can catch the ball. He can do it all.
I kind of like the under. Just nah.
No,
Go to Texas. Go to Texas.
I'm going to Texas on this game here. I don't love it. I think the Vikings will win this game. I don't know by how much though, so I'm not gonna even touch it. I'm gonna go. We're gonna talk about this Bears game here. So the Cardinals are -7.5, same line as the game before, at the Chicago Bears. So they're coming to Soldier Field. Point total's 42.5. Harry, Bears will be starting Andy Dalton. The Cardinals, however, will be getting Kyler Murray back. They'll be getting DeAndre Hopkins back this week. That is big for this Cardinals team, which still looked like the 1 seed in the NFC, even when they didn't have their starting quarterback or their wide receiver 1. Harry, this Cardinals team is legit, right? We've known this since week 4 that this Cardinals team is legit and they're ready to make a run at a Super Bowl. The Bears, I'm telling you though, they are drawing a tough matchup this week.
Mm-hmm.
They're drawing a really tough matchup. They are going to Soldier Field, right? They have to play against Andy Dalton, and this Bears team has looked better. This Bears offense, I'm going to say, it has looked better with Andy Dalton behind under center than they have with Justin Fields. And I don't think that's blasphemous to say right now.
No, it's not blasphemous at all. And if I may interject, I'd love to tell you, and then we can. I'll listen to what you were going to say. There are certain things that this Bear offense looks a lot better with Justin Fields under center, primarily, especially for the obvious thing, his legs. When he's rolling to his right or he's rolling to his left, Let me tell you something. I can honestly tell you he throws a better deep ball when he's running than anybody in the National Football League. I'm telling you that
Zach,
wholeheartedly.
I,
It
I, I
was
think it's. I think honestly, it's between Justin Fields and Zach Wilson for
I'm
that.
just
For
I'm
that.
just I'm just telling you, man. It's just it's so pretty. It's not even funny, and he puts it right into a spot. I noticed that Justin Fields has been trying to get better when he's playing under center. And he's playing behind a very makeshift offensive line, which, by the way, I'll get to, has played a lot better in the past coming weeks. Even Jason Peters,
Mhm.
okay, has been playing really well, not just in the run game. He's really been protecting, but he's taken too many shots. The knock on Justin Fields is exactly what I said when he was coming out of college. It's a little slow getting rid of the football, but he's going to get better at that. And he's really trying to sit into the pocket. That's where he's making his mistakes. I think he can read a defense just fine. He's just a little slower at his progressions than an Andy Dalton. I said it before the year started. I watched it in practice. Dalton, 1, 2, 3, throw. The receiver's not even into his break. He turns around, the ball's on him. That's the difference between the two quarterbacks. And yes, they do have a better chance of winning, in my opinion, with Andy Dalton. With that being said, this game started at 7 points to start the week, and there was no guarantee that the receiver nor Kyler Murray were going to play. It wasn't even out yet. After they announced it on Wednesday that both were going to play, the game moved nothing. It's still 7.5 points. There's a reason for it, because they are trying to get you to bet the Arizona Cardinals. It's one of those sexy picks. I kind of like this game, guys. The total's 42.5 points. Chicago scores 21. I see the game going over. That's the easy pick. The harder pick is you can bet the Bears in this game. And even with the uncertainty, without an Eddie Goldman and without an Akeem Hicks, there's a possibility those two are not playing. I haven't seen the reports yet, and I wish someone would go ahead and tell us if he's actually playing it. And this could be a trap game for Arizona. Plus, they might have Kyler Murray on a little bit of a pitch count, and they're probably not going to get too risky with them, because here's another stat for you, Jacob. Did you know the Chicago Bears lead the National Football League in quarterback pressures and sacks,
Really?
even with that banged up defensive line? Yep. I talked too much about it.
I listen. Here's my thing with the Bears. This is my qualm with picking the Bears in this game. I think that even if the Bears can score 21 points in this one, right? They're not going to be able to keep up with the Cardinals offense.
I didn't say they were beating them. There's a possibility they could, but do they cover?
I think that Kyler Murray coming back, I think that having DeAndre Hopkins, I think it's an overwhelming offense for this Bears team that just had to take on, that barely beat out the Detroit Lions last week.
Yeah, but Detroit's been playing very well as just as well. Let me tell you something. Arizona is not as good as what everybody thinks they are, including you. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a little bit of a tidbit here, okay? I told you I've been handicapping football for over 30 years.
Mhm.
Over. I watch every game. I watch coaches' tape. They have a lot of holes in this offense, a lot of holes. If you blitz Kyler Murray, you get to him. Very similar to what you're going to get with Lamar Jackson. Okay, you and I were talking about the best team in the National Football League when the season started, and all the way up to week 6 or 7, and now we're sitting here going, I wonder who it really is now, because they're not showing it, and it's the Rams.
Yep.
Because you and I, we were talking about when the Rams were playing the Cardinals, and we're saying, well, they're getting ready to come to earth, and Arizona stomped a mud hole in their ass. Okay. But then again, there have been teams like the Minnesota Vikings with no defense that went in there and took care of business. There have been teams like the Houston Texans that have gone inside of there. Trust me, this team is not invincible. There's so much parity in the National Football League. There is no clear-cut superstar. I'll tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl and give you my best chances going into week 16. I've never said that before. I could tell you mid-season who I thought your biggest runners are. We went from Kansas City Chiefs being, they're done, to now back in the driver's seat, and it's not because of their offense.
Yeah.
You would agree with me about the parity, wouldn't you, Jacob?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. There's no clear-cut number one team right now, in my opinion. I think the two in the NFC, if I had to pick, it's the Cardinals and the Packers. I think the Cardinals are legit, Harry. I do. I look at this team. They're complete on every piece of this offense. They're complete not on every piece of the defense. The defense is up and down, but they're pretty solid. They're pretty solid. Cliff Kingsbury, I think, is a really, really good coach. You know, Harry, I think the Cardinals cover the -7.5 here. I just think it's too much for them. I think it's too much for the Bears to keep up with. And I think we see a Justin Fields return next week.
Oh, no. No, I don't doubt it at all. But you know what? That's the easy
But
pick.
all right, you're right. I love the over.
Yeah, but I will say this: be very careful, because I've always said if a line seems too good to be true, what is it? It's generally too good to be true,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying, by all rights, this game, as wounded as Chicago is, should be 10 to 12 points.
Mhm.
They're not. Let me repeat it. In the beginning of the week, they were -7. And in some sites, they were 7.5. When they announced that Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins were playing, the line never moved.
Mhm.
Okay. Something's going on with this game. Trap game. Stay away from it. But I tell you what, I could feel pretty confident you could bet the over in this game.
I'll give it the over in this one for sure. I love that one.
Go for it. Go over to your next
Tampa
one.
Buccaneers -10.5 at the Atlanta Falcons. Another divisional matchup. We have a few divisional matchups today. We have a few. Yeah. All right. So Bucks -10.5. Harry, I mean, I think the Bucks cover the 10.5 here. The Falcons are atrocious. I know
It's actually 11.
So this is a game where, I mean, Harry, you might say the Falcons might backdoor cover this one because, nah, I don't think so. I think this is
Tampa blows this team out today.
Yeah, this is going to be a blowout. This is a
If
350, 400-yard game from Tom Brady. What do you think?
I have to go full screen on here, and I want to talk to people that do root for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and people that have interest in this game. If they do not beat this team by 30 points, very bad news for this team. You're getting healthy back in your safety positions, and your corners are starting to get healthy. You have to make a statement game if you want to be considered to be one of the best in the National Football League, if not the best. That's all I'm going to say. You're coming up, even with a Cordero Patterson, you have to put your foot on his throat, and it may not happen, but they're supposed to beat him.
I'm going to go the opposite way here. I think that if they beat them by 30, they shouldn't even. You can't get complacent. You can't be happy with a even, no matter how much you win by. As long as you come out with a win in this one, you just have to look to next week, because this isn't a team that don't overlook this team, because the Falcons want to beat the Bucks. But if they beat, even if you win by 30 points, don't get complacent here. This team, don't come out. I don't want to hear people coming out next week. Oh, the Buccaneers, they're gonna win the Super Bowl now because they beat the Atlanta Falcons by 30. This is just a game that the Bucks should win. This isn't a opinion changing game for me unless they lose.
Nah, I'm telling you right now, they're if you barely beat this team, you're in trouble this year, guys. Because now I'm going to blame exactly what it is. It starts with coaching, and then it goes to the players. I'm not saying this is the problem. I'm telling you, if they do not beat the brakes off this team, you can start looking at everybody on this team. People are becoming complacent. You never look till next week. Buffalo's done it. Indy has done it. Kansas City has done it. The Rams have done it. The Cardinals have done it. Green Bay has done it. Every team that has been a powerhouse in this league this year have overlooked their opponents and gotten their ass handed to them.
They need to run the ball. That's it. They run the ball. You see what happens last week when you run the ball. 4 touchdowns from Leonard Fournette. That's what happens. We've been saying it. The Indianapolis Colts, another game here. Another divisional game. Indianapolis Colts -10 at the Houston Texans today. Points totals 44.5, Harry. I'm going to go to Texas just because this, I mean, actually, no, I don't want to bet this game. This doesn't, I mean, the Colts are the sexy pick, the -10. The Texans are bad. They lost to the Jets last week. I think the Colts will blow them out, but I mean, NFL, no effing logic. I think that I'm going to stay away from this one, Harry. What do you think?
You have a comment there from Fat Mike from 1252 Sports. That's a scary game. I think he's talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game. I'm almost positive he's talking about it. It could be a scary game. But going back to what you were saying about the Indianapolis Colts, I agree. I think they gave Tampa everything they could handle. If they didn't turn the ball over for the 4 times and give the gifts to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we could be talking about a different outcome from last week's game. And again, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer on Tampa. I can only tell you from what I see with my own 2 eyes. This week's going to be a decision maker. But as far as Indy going into Houston, I have supported Houston and made a lot of money on Houston this year. Okay. They don't have the record to show for it, but they've been sure as hell been covering enough spreads for me to go ahead and talk about something. Houston makes it interesting in the first half with Tyrod Taylor. The defense is playing extraordinary well with nobody could probably name 2 players on this defensive line, nor even in the secondary, but they're playing very competitive football. They're playing inspired football for Coach Smith. Indy's going to be too much for him. In the first half, I'd stay away from it. If you want to make a small wager, you bet you bet Houston in the first half. But I'll tell you what, for the overall game, Indianapolis walks away with it.
Well, I listen. Indianapolis has been probably the best first half team I've seen in the league so far.
Yep.
They're
Yeah,
putting
Houston's going to give them a little problem.
they're putting up 25, 30 points in the first half against teams, Harry.
Yeah,
Like that's ridiculous.
Indy's coming off that emotional, game last week against Tampa Bay. They're going to cover, and they're going to probably end up beating the brakes off of Houston. I do like them. They're actually -10 on the book that I deal with right now, and I have already had a position with the -10. But do not bet the first half because Houston does play inspired football. They're not as bad as what people think.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles -5 at the New York Jets today. Philly's still favored with Gardner Minshew starting at quarterback because this will be fun. Minshew Mania if there's a game that Minshew Mania is gonna run wild, it's gonna be this one. It'll be this one, but I don't think it happens, Harry. I really don't think it happens.
I got the Jets. I got the Jets getting 7.5. If you wait about another hour, you're going to get up to 8 points. And I'm going to tell you right now, the 45 points. Bet the under in this game.
I'm betting the under too. I have them at 43.5, Harry. I have that point total 43.5.
Wow. I actually bet it at 45. I haven't checked it today, so it is coming down. I still don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to bet the under in this game.
I'm going under. I don't think a lot of points are scored.
But I do like the Jets here. That's a pick I'm going to give out. I like the Jets getting the 7.5.
That'd be nice. I think this Eagles offensive line has been covered up. How bad it is has been covered up by Jalen Hurts' ability to use his legs. You're gonna see a few sacks today from this Jets team. You're going to see John Franklin Myers come out. Who just hit a big week last week. You're gonna see him come out have a pair of sacks. You're gonna see Quinnen Williams have a pair of sacks today. You're gonna see. The reason I love the under though is because on top of this Jets defense destroying this Eagles offense. This Eagles defense, they're going to shut down the pass. Zach Wilson's going to see a lot of things that he's not going to like. He's going to be under pressure a little bit. I think that there aren't a lot of points scored in this game. And the Jets are trying out a new kicker today, Alex Nessman. They cut Matt Amendola. So this kicker experiment continues this season for the New York Jets. But I love the under in this one, Harry.
Did you see the breaking news from Troy?
Reports speculate the Jets are trying to thump Zach Wilson. So funny.
Christopher Cole says it's a trap game for Arizona. I agree with him.
Yeah, I don't know. Bucks beat the Falcons by a field goal or last minute Hail Mary. If they man, that'll be something. Last minute Hail Mary. All right. The Los Angeles I hope Tevin Jenkins can ball out today, Harry. Any thoughts? Facebook user, whoever you are, thank you for this is a great topic. Tevin Jenkins. He was one of my favorite prospects. He's been balling out in the games he's played, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, and by the way, that was Tony Williams who made that comment. I think he's going to be on a pitch count. I think he's going to be on the right side of the line. But what are they going to do with Larry Borom? What has Larry Borom done to pull him out of the game? I say put Tevin Jenkins. Listen, Bears ain't going anywhere this year. They're not eliminated. They can win out. Then they'd make a game. They would make it. If the Bears peeled 5 or 6, I'll tell you what. If the Bears win this week, then you start thinking about letting Tevin Jenkins play. But if they do, it's going to be sparingly. I put him on the right side, put him on the left side a little bit. But I'm not I'm not that enamored with that pickup this year, especially when you draft him so high with a guy that already had an injury issue, and the Chicago Bears have a propensity of doing these kind of things.
Yeah. The Los
Those are
Angeles
my thoughts. It's going to be a great tackle as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Harry. The Los Angeles Chargers +3 at the Cincinnati Bengals today. I'm excited for this game. This is going to be the most fun game to watch of the week, I think. Points total is 49.5. I'm going to Texas on this one, Harry. This game could go
Why?
This game could go either way. I really think so. The Bengals tear apart the Steelers last week. The Chargers, I don't know what the Chargers are doing with Justin Herbert right now. I really don't. Why are they not letting him unleash his arm? I don't
You ever hear-
understand it.
I,
I
I, I
really
see
don't.
I see the sophomore blues, brother. I see it every time.
I don't think it's him. I really don't think it's him. I don't think it's Justin Herbert. I think it's Brandon Staley and this offense.
Bingo. You know what? I got to tell you who I like. I like the Chargers ever so slightly. This is a really must-win game for the Chargers. But you
Yeah.
know what I like even more than that? 5, 6 weeks ago, I would have told you that the Chargers would have been an absolute cinch because I was bashing on Cincinnati. The Bears beat them. I said that Detroit could win their first game, and they ended up getting their ass handed to them. And since he's like one of these numbers, the roller coaster, okay?
Not your Dennis Rodman.
And then they beat the brakes off of Baltimore. It's the no friggin' logic league. Where's the Chargers defense? Forget about the offense. Where's the Bosa-led defense? Why isn't this team playing like they're supposed to? So you know what? They're not going to fix themselves in 1 week because Cincinnati's defense is probably worse right now than the Chargers. The total's 49. The Greek gives you the over.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to Texas here, though.
Hey, I got a really good. This is going to be the comment of the week, and it comes from who? No, none other than Mr. Christopher Cole dropping the knowledge.
Fun fact: Brady has never completed a Hail Mary. Well,
that's unbelievable. You would have stumped me. I'd have lost $1,000 if this is true.
He's never had those receivers that could catch those Hail Marys.
Really?
Yeah. Well, now he does. He never had those in New England. Besides, like maybe Randy Moss, but I don't think he had. I don't think he had to throw many Hail Marys when he had Randy Moss on the team.
No, he just throws it to Randy Moss.
So he never had to throw a Hail Mary to Randy Moss because he would just throw a million.
You got mossed.
Yeah. All right. This is I don't even want to talk about this game. The Giants +6.5 at the Miami Dolphins today. Mike Glennon starting for the Giants. Dolphins are on they on a 4-game winning streak right now?
Absolutely. And who did the Greek have last week?
The Dolphins. I picked I picked bad last week. We don't need to talk about it. It's whatever.
9-2 last week.
We look forward. Look forward.
Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead. Congrats.
Oh, this feels good. Oh yes.
Yeah, congratulations, Harry. Congratulations. I think the Dolphins will pick up their 5th win. The Giants with Mike Glennon without Kadarius Toney, they're bad with Daniel Jones and with Kadarius Toney, so they'll be worse with Mike Glennon and without him. I think you clean house if you're the Giants after this year. I think they're going to. But they're paying too many guys big money. I think why are people disagreeing with me here? Why would the Giants not move off of Saquon Barkley? He's not that good. He hasn't done anything impressive this year. I understand the Giants' offensive line has not been great, but you don't want to pay Saquon this big money. You need to go into a rebuild. You don't need to focus on your running back position. You know what happens? You become the Jets a couple of years ago if you start to do that, right? A team that is in desperate need of a rebuild and it's being covered up by a running back you're paying big, a receiver you're paying big, a quarterback that people hopelessly hold on to hope for. This Giants team needs to clean house, get rid of Dan Gettleman, get rid of Dave Gettleman, get rid of Joe Judge, get rid of Daniel Jones, get rid of Saquon. It's not working. It's done. Restart this thing from the ground up, get a quarterback that can play football consistently, or a rookie that you can start to develop again. There's a lot of good head coaches in the pool next year. Don't hold on hope to a Belichick guy that hasn't worked out so far and isn't going to work out going forward. I'm picking the Dolphins in this game, and I think the Giants are in a bad position going forward if they don't clean house after Week 18 this year.
Well, anytime. See, I'm not allowed to say that quarterback's name on this platform. I can call him MG. I personally think they should need to take the Chicago Bears general manager and send him with him over there as well, because how the hell could they pay him that kind of money here in Chicago to bring him in here just to have him replaced by Mitch Trubisky after 4 games? He's terrible. But we're not going to get into that subject about it. I love Miami in this game. But you know what I love even more?
The over.
Under 39.5.
Under 39.5. Oh my God.
Absolutely love.
That's a great pick right there. That is
this game is going to
That's a
be 39-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All right.
They
Give me a break.
wouldn't cover,
It'll
Harry.
go under.
Oh, they would. Oh, you're right. You take the under.
It's going under. I mean, the Giants still have a semblance of a defense, okay?
Yeah.
But I mean, after the first, I'll tell you what. Bet under first half, under second half. Bet under for the game.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the pick. I cannot believe the Giants have stooped that low to
They
get
suck.
that guy. Ugh, God, it's horrible.
Can we just move on?
Oh, please.
All right, let's move on to my game of the week now.
What is it?
My game of the week: Washington football team plus 1.5 at the Las Vegas Raiders. The point total here is what, 48, Harry? I am hammering the Washington football team this week. Hammering the Washington football team.
You're starting to sound like me, Jacob.
Listen.
Your parents are going to hate me.
I love Derek. I think Derek Carr, I've changed my opinion on him. I think Derek Carr is a solid quarterback.
I do too.
I do. But Vegas is without Darren Waller this week.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about this in a few
And Washington's without their 2-star defensive ends.
I know.
And they're still balling.
Because it's scheme. Defense is more about scheme, I think. And then when you
Ron Rivera, hail to Ron Rivera. I have to say that we're in Chicago.
I think that we'll talk about it again in a few games because I have a strong opinion about another game too this week. When you take away the X factor on a team, the Darren Waller, this team is at such a disadvantage. It is a piece that you don't even have to worry about anymore, right? Washington they are underdogs in this one. On the road, Washington is going to walk in. What is it? Allegiant Stadium, whatever it's called now, in Vegas, whatever that new stadium's called.
Yeah, it's the big stadium in Las Vegas.
And they're going to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. That is my game of the week. Don't even bet the spread, Harry. Hammer the money line. Make yourself some cash.
I love it. It's my third best pick of the week. Jacob, very, very good observation. Yeah, Washington looks good. And you ready? Under.
And on top of it, Harry, Washington's without J.D. McKissick this week. And everyone's going to say, McKissick has been so good. How could you? No. What we're going to see is Antonio Gibson show why he should be the lead back. Show why he should get those third down reps. We're going to see it. Antonio Gibson is going to show up and show out. Terry McLaurin is going to show up and show out. Taylor Heineke is going to ball this week. I love it. I'm hammering the Washington football team. Harry, what do you think?
There's nothing to think about. They're going to win this game without. In my opinion, I really like it. Hey, there's someone in our back room that you haven't talked to in a long time, and he's wearing it because you can't see him. It's going to be kind of surprising, and he's wearing a tie. Ladies and gentlemen,
tie. Who could this be?
The best of the Bay.
Oh,
Ray Kennedy. How are you, buddy?
Come on, guys. I actually wear a tie to work. It's not that out of the ordinary there, Harry the Greek. How are you, Jacob? Good morning, brother.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm ready for some football. We had some great football yesterday, some great matchups. Michigan won. Yay. I want to see Michigan go all the way. I mean, it's Georgia number 3, so they're going to get to go ahead and they don't have to play Alabama again. But ultimately, you think that ends up being a championship game. Does Michigan have a shot in there to get in and sneak in? What do you guys think?
I think Michigan, I'll have my own thing on him, but I think Aiden Hutchinson is the number 1 overall pick. I think he should be. I think he might be better than Kayvon Thibodeau.
Wow.
I really do.
I tell you what, I've been a Michigan fan all year, and it's not just because I'm a Harbaugh fan there, Jimmy the Greek. Thanks for having me again, by the way, guys. But just down here at Ferg's Bar and Grill, the world famous Ferg Sports Bar and Grill, getting ready for game day. The staff's cleaning up, the sidewalks are clean. It's a beautiful day here, Jacob. Where you're at, Jacob? I'm going to take a total shot in the dark because I always like to predict the weather based on what Florida's at. I'm going to say today you've probably got a high in the mid 50s and probably a little overcast, but the sun's going to shine a little.
We got low 40s today.
Ooh.
Low to mid 40s.
For you guys can have that crap.
And in Chicago, you ready? Mid to upper 30s and precipitation 90%.
Yes. Hey, so Harry, Jacob, do I hear you saying that the Bears somehow muster up enough and give those Arizona Cardinals a victory and continue to help the Bucs try to get the top seed in the National Football Conference?
Well, we're not trying to help you do that, but yes, I do see ways that the Chicago Bears could win this game. Jacob, on the other hand, says there's absolutely zero chance.
Yeah.
I got to agree with you, Jacob, but I got to hope for it with you, Harry. And I'm a closet Chicago Bear fan. Maybe it's from sitting by your side for so long, but going back to the NFC Central days, the Black and Blue North Division, there was some pretty bad Buccaneer teams back in those days. The Bears coming in here with that 86 defense and Buddy Ryan, and of course the best of all time sweetness, Walter Payton. For this kid to be able to go to those games because there were tickets available in that lot that my family had, those 14 season tickets there at the old Big Sombrero. I grew up watching those Bears and Dan Hampton and Mike Singletary back in his sitting like this with those eyes that I would not, to this day, I probably see those in my nightmares sometimes. So I'm also I'm a closet Bears fan, but today I'm a huge Bears fan. Because honest to goodness, guys, Cardinals are a young team. They're showing off. Cliff Kingsbury's doing a great job. Kyler Murray, even when Colt McCoy's in there, they're showing up. But this is still a young, untested team that if a team like the Bears there on Monsters of the Midway at Soldier Field can punch them up and slap them in the face, I think they could give the Cardinals all they can handle today there at Soldier Field.
Absolutely. Wow. I think
that's pretty good. Ray, tell everybody where they can find you because we got to get to the rest of them. I love when you're doing the sign of the cross.
I'm praying, brother.
We'll find you, buddy.
Bucs Report, got the pregame today. You can find my writing all over the place. Coming on with you guys, I appreciate it again. Thanks for having me. This also serves as my audio check. I'll be going on live there at 10 a.m. And maybe I'll see one of you guys later on. Thanks for having me, brothers.
Hey, man, you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Talk to you later. Best of the Bay.
Take care, brothers.
Bye.
It's all right.
Oh, he's always good for a good conversation.
Always. All right, Harry, let's move on here. The Los Angeles Rams. Oh, no, sorry. We'll do a game before that. The Baltimore Ravens -4.5 at the Pittsburgh Steelers today. Points totals 44. Ravens are -4.5 point favorites. I'm going so far into Texas on this game. I can't even tell you.
Senor, are you really going to El Paso?
I'm going there, man. I can't even.
My homeboy, I cannot bet this game with Ray Kennedy's money.
Not happening.
I couldn't, but I'll tell you what I can bet, though, in this game. Bet the under 43.5.
I'm not even doing it. I'm not even doing it. I'm going to watch this game, and I'm going to laugh at the Steelers. That's all I want to do. That's all I want. That's all I want is that it's a big, I mean, man, Big Ben. It looks like that clock stopped working.
I still can't believe this. I wish Ray, I'm going to bring Ray back in here just for a second because I want to know if this is true, okay? Because this is really interesting. Ray, just really quick. Christopher Cole gave me a fun fact, and he says that Tom Brady has never completed a Hail Mary.
Well, the thing about it is a Hail Mary by its very nature is a quarterback desperately dropping back. Of course, he's never driven out of the pocket like a la Aaron Rodgers. But the fact of the matter is the reason why we can say that with definity that he's never completed a Hail Mary is because Tom's never called it a Hail Mary. It's just called drop back and make that completion, baby.
Oh, God. Talk to you later, Ray.
See you guys.
Thank you, man. He's the ultimate Bucs fan. I just want to know if it was true. And by the way, Troy Polamalu has a good question for you.
So is overrated as hell, said Rex Ryan. I already went off about this last week. They made up, by the way.
Oh, they did?
Apparently. I don't know.
Yeah. So back at you, Troy.
Yeah.
No, I kind of like the under, but you know what? I'm probably going to go to Texas in this game, too. I kind of agree with you. Who else you like, buddy?
Screw this game. I don't want to. I'm not touching it. Nothing I like in it at all. The Jacksonville Jaguars, though, plus 12.5 at the Los Angeles Rams. This is a get-right game for the Rams, isn't it?
No.
Ugh.
I can't bet them. I still listen, I still feel in my heart that the Rams are the best team in football. but
They I
they
don't know.
they stink lately, bro. I don't know
They
what the
do.
hell's going
Right.
on.
You're right. You're right. You know what? Not in terms of betting. We'll forget the betting aspect of it. I think in terms of straight up, I think this is a get right game for the Rams. I think this is a game where they need to figure it out. You know, what do you think? The over 48, Harry? I don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to score points.
The Jaguars will score 17 to 24 points in this game.
Oh, that would be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
No, they are. They're going to score 17 to 24 points in this game, and 2 of them are going to come because of short fields. There's something wrong.
Jacksonville's defense has been quietly solid.
Yes, they have. Oh my God, you're the only one that I've talked to that actually has half a brain about football. I'm not kidding you.
I would hope so with my aspirations in life that I would have at least half a brain. Because I mean,
No, I'm not kidding you, man. You'd be surprised. Everybody just says
They did.
Jacksonville. Oh, they stink. No, they stink. No,
No, they
man,
do.
they're competitive.
They stink, but their
they-
defense is competitive.
Their defense is competitive. It's just like Houston. Just like the Houston Texans. Will someone please give me an amen and say, Greek, you were right. This defense does play hard.
Never, ever,
I know.
Never.
Oy
Never.
vey. You know what? I'm going to talk to your grandma.
never.
Okay,
What?
and
She's watching.
I know she's watching. Grandma, please. Okay, no more good food for Jacob. None, zero. You can't. Shout out to the Charnow family. Your son is the greatest. Your grandson's the greatest. He's got so much great knowledge. It's almost an honor just being on the show with him because you know what? He's going to be very famous one day, and he's really good at what he does.
That's something. Oh my god. Well, she's gonna love that, and I'm gonna hear about. I'm gonna see her later, so I'm gonna hear about that. No more good food for me. No more good food.
No more good food for you. You can't even agree with the Greek.
All right. I'm gonna. So this is a game that we'll talk about briefly. This next one.
Here you go. Read that comment.
We'll talk about this game briefly because I have a rant at the end of the show after I get you out of here about this team.
Sure, go ahead.
The 49ers -3.5 at the Seattle Seahawks. All I'll say here is that I'm going to take the Seahawks in this game purely because the Niners won't have Deebo Samuel. Like I said about the Raiders, you take away that X factor that this offense basically runs through Deebo Samuel. You lose almost every part of this offense. I think Elijah Mitchell could play well, and I know the Seahawks have been bad, and they are bad. But I'm going to take it's going to go against what I'm going to say later, but I'm going to take the Seahawks in this game specifically. Harry, what do you think?
That's my second pick of the week. Okay.
Seattle?
Seattle is going to just play such they're playing so they're going to play so much more inspired than they have. But I'm going to give you 2 predictions here. San Francisco not only covers the 3, they probably beat them by 20 in this game. Okay, you're picking Seattle because you have a man crush on Russell Wilson. Okay, come on, stop.
Yeah.
Not only do I love San Francisco in this game, they're on a heater right now. This team is really rolling. They're playing really good football, especially on defense. Not only do I like San Fran, I like the over 46 points because I think San Fran scores 35 alone in this game.
Wow.
That's how much I like them.
Wow. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about Seattle later, so we'll move on. Sunday night, Broncos +9.5 at the Kansas City Chiefs, Harry. Divisional game. Points totals 47. I mean, I think I'm looking at the over in this game. I'm not even looking at a line. I'm not even looking at the line. I'm looking at the over here, Harry. What do you think? Texas
that line again.
I got 9.5.
And who are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Broncos Chiefs.
Oh, I like the Chiefs. There's no reason not to like the Chiefs right now. They've really proven themselves. Offensively, they're not as good as what they were last year.
We'll go back to last week. We'll go back to last week when me and you are screaming at our computer screens that the Chiefs shouldn't be favored in any capacity, any way.
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and they have and let me tell you something. NFL stands for no friggin' logic. Their defense is playing really well, but that's a lot of points. Very small position on Kansas City, and I like the under 48.
Yeah, and then Monday night, Harry. Monday night, the New England Patriots +2.5 at the Buffalo Bills. Now, I don't want to talk about last week. I don't want to talk about last week because I didn't pick well. But what I'm going to tell you is that even though everyone wants to say that the Patriots are now going to win the division and they're going to be great for years to come, sure, they might be. They're still not. I still don't think they're a match for Buffalo, Harry. I know.
Well,
I know.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I've always been the biggest. I have been a huge supporter of the Buffalo Bills until I really started digging into them a little bit this year. Number one, I picked. You do remember this? I picked that the New England Patriots would win the division this year. Actually, have tickets to prove that. Got really decent money from it. They spent millions of dollars on that defense this year, and it's finally starting to show. That defense is playing really well.
Actually, some interesting news here. The salary cap in 2022 for the NFL is expected to go up from 182.5 million to 208.2 million.
That's pretty interesting. But anyway, the winner of this game wins that division, and unfortunately, I honestly think that New England's the best team in the AFC right now.
So I'm gonna flip you here. I think the Buffalo wins this game, and I think New England wins their second matchup. Buffalo wins at home, New England wins at home. That's what I think.
I think you remember what I was telling you about the strength of schedule before the season started, remember?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after the week 11, they ended up with the weakest schedule in the National Football League.
Yep.
It's going to show. New England hasn't had that same type of schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. But I like Buffalo in this game, Harry. Either way. All right, man. I'm going to let you get out of here. Go ahead. Tell everybody where they can find you. I really appreciate you joining me this week. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of good games here, right?
Well, I'll tell you where they can find me. They can find me right here Friday evenings on the Over Under, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's called the Over Under with Harry the Greek and a little opinion from Pete. Peter Blake from the Sports Web is always my co-host on Friday evenings, live right here on 1252 Sports. Jacob, welcome to the platform. Thank you so much for having me on. We'll talk to you later, little brother, and go Bears.
Yes, sir, man. I'll see you later. Peace. All right. Now it's time for my rant, and I haven't ended a show with a rant in some time, but I've really wanted to talk about this one. So this week's rant topic will be the Seattle Seahawks. Everyone wants to talk about the Lions. Everyone wants to talk about the Texans. Everyone wants to talk about the Eagles, the Jets, the Giants. The team that is in the worst position right now, the worst situation going forward, is the Seattle Seahawks. The reason the Seattle Seahawks are in the worst situation of football is because they can't get their own heads out of their rear ends. I'll keep this show family friendly. They need to, this season, I'm going to tell you what they need to do. They need to get rid of Russell Wilson. They need to get rid of Pete Carroll. They need to get rid of John Schneider. And you look at it, and I say this, and then I look at my paper, and I say, well, the lasting damage is done. This is a team that's going to take 5 years to rebuild if they need to. They don't have their draft picks next year. They gave them away to the Jets for a safety that they're paying way too much money for now. That isn't that good. And Jamal Adams, obviously. John Schneider's traded away almost all their picks. They trade all their picks. And Russell Wilson, he doesn't want to be there anymore. Pete Carroll, the game's caught up to him. I think Pete Carroll's still a fine coach, but I think the game's caught up to him. I don't think he's the right coach for this team anymore. They have a good young receiver. They have a few good young receivers. They have a running back that can't stay on the field. And they have a bad defense. The Seattle Seahawks have become, or at least the Los Angeles Rams have become what the Seattle Seahawks want to be. Seattle spends all their money and they trade all their draft picks and they're all in, right? They're all in. They get this glorified outside linebacker to play safety for them. And now what? Now they're 3-8. Now they're 3-8. They're not even winning games with Russell Wilson playing quarterback. And they don't have any draft picks. At least teams like the Lions have draft picks going forward. The Dolphins have draft picks going forward, right? The Texans at least know that they suck. And they know it, and they know they need to rebuild, and they're going to. They're going to trade Deshaun Watson. They're going to get a ton in return for him. So they'll be back on track to where they want to be. The Seahawks, their own ego is now getting in the way. Oh, we're the Seahawks. We can't go into a rebuild. It's the same situation the Steelers were in, except the Steelers are still only a quarterback away. The Seahawks have holes at now. They're going next season. They're going to have a hole at quarterback. They're going to have a hole at running back. Their offensive line sucks. Their defensive line sucks. Their corners are bad, and they have zero secondary. And they have a head coach and a GM that the game has passed them by. I couldn't even tell you how the Seahawks can get back on track right now. Sure, they'll get a first rounder or two for Russell Wilson. Then what? Then what? And you have nothing else. Nothing else. Zero anything going forward. So if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, I'm firing everyone. And I'm letting someone else, another GM, another smart mind that isn't John Schneider, come in and try and rebuild this thing. Because it is a mess. So there's my rant for the week. And with that, we're going to wrap today from the Hard Count Football Podcast. My name is Jacob Charno. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Guys, go follow me on Twitter at Jacob Charno, Instagram at Hard Count Football. Special thanks to Harry to come on talking all the games as always. Another special thanks to Tampa Bay Ray for popping in here. Go check them out everywhere, guys. Go subscribe to the Hard Count Football YouTube channel and check out all these other shows from 1252 Sports Chicago. It's really a great platform. I'm really, really excited to be here, guys. Enjoy week 13. I'll see you all next Sunday morning.